So what's up everybody, Black Clover 324 translations are out. It's always good to have the dialogue towards a chapter versus just seeing a couple of panels. This chapter nonetheless actually delivers. Tabata has been on fire this whole year, so that rest he's getting for next week is highly deserved. This chapter itself was a banger. From seeing the villain going from being angry and irritated to it being calm and focused, it's about to go down. So let's get into my Black Clover 324 review. First of all, if you like anime, manga reviews, discussions, spoilers, and theories, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, I'm rebuilding the channel. Suesha hit me with a lot of false copyright strikes. If you like the content, definitely support by hitting the like button, commenting, and subscribing. Keep in mind, I do review spoilers and I do talk about spoilers. So if you're not into that, I'm giving you a heads up. So commenting, liking, and subscribing is highly appreciated. The chapter starts off with Zora, and you see him talking pretty much in himself, saying that all the magic power that he stored is in his right hand. And you see a lot of trap magic symbols. I gotta admit, I think this is really cool because I've been wondering what is that language that is written there. I'm pretty sure that's not the current language that most of the characters use. I think this language is different. I think it has to do with a ancient language. I'm talking about like the ruins from the Mana method and trap magic. I think this comes from like an older language. It's really cool to see this. Basically, Zora and Lucifero exchange blows, and I have to admit, I'm very happy that Zora gets his moment to shine, even if it's a little. It's not to the point of Magna, who literally defeated Dante, a dark triad, but still Zora exchanged blows with the king of the devils. That's an epic feat because most of the people in Golden Dawn and most of these high nobles and captains couldn't do what Zora just did. He literally exchanged fists with the person that single-handedly defeated all the captains. They landed blows on him, but he basically just walked it off. And this kind of pushed Lucifero a little bit back. That itself is showing that the Black Bulls are just a squad that is just on another level. I know it's favoritism in a way because they're the squad where the main character is at, but still, I love how Black Clover is basically about the underdog and it getting to its top position because, you know, that's what Black Clover is about. It was constantly talked down upon when it first came out. People were saying that it was the worst manga. Now Black Clover has earned a top spot in the Shonen Manga Weekly series. This chapter kind of reminds you that with like other members of the Black Bulls having some moment to shine. After Zora and Lucifero exchange blows, there's a grimoire, and I was wondering where that grimoire was coming from. Some people are telling me it's Zora's grimoire. Some people are telling me it's Yami's grimoire. Whoever's grimoire it is, it annoys Lucifero. I was kind of wondering, like, why hasn't Lucifero done any magical spells? I know he hasn't been taking it seriously. He's basically been playing around with his food, and I noticed that with devils, especially the Trio Cliff-Off level, they kind of like toying with humans. Basically, they have the same characteristics of demons in the Judeo-Christianity pantheon and lore because demons like playing with humans too. So devils, who are basically the Black Clover versions of demons of the Judeo-Christianity pantheon and lore, it makes sense that Lucifero has been annoyed that he's been trying to play with his food or play with humanity, and they keep fighting back and showing that, hey, they have the possibility of actually defeating him. It makes sense why he's taking it seriously now in this chapter. The whole grimoire thing, it makes me wonder if Lucifero somehow corrupts a 4-star grimoire and somehow attains a grimoire. I don't think that's possible because at this point, like, Lucifero's already overpowered, and having him have another power-up, I don't think the current cast can actually deal with it. Plus him doing a new form, Yami and not come in and intervene between Lucifero and Zora. And you gotta admit, Zora, if he wasn't there, Asta and Nero most likely would have died because Nero can't take a punch from Lucifero. She doesn't seem the type to endure those type of physical attacks, and Asta is just on the verge of death, so it makes sense that they needed somebody to be there to protect them enough for Yami and not to come in, and that's what happened. Zora was that person. And once again, it's a huge feat for Zora. As a Zora fan, I'm very happy. There's a conversation between Yami and Not. Yami is proud of where the squad members have went, and he tells Not that you probably already know because you've been watching them from the sidelines. Not also agrees, saying that all of them has surpassed his expectations. I hope that in the future arcs, we get to see Not being more involved with the Black Bulls. I don't think Not's gonna die, just saying because of Yami's conversation with Not about him being friends and he has to live on for Morgan. So I definitely see him him in the next arc being more friendly and more warm towards the Black Bulls. Zora does mention, you guys are the captains, time for you guys to show off. And this leads to epic combination spells from Yami and Not. Yami's and Not's combination spell is called Monozone Full Release, and then they combine their magic of shadow and darkness and call it Children's Playground. You see a bunch of basically buildings made of shadow, and then you see a black moon with hands coming out of it. That's so ominous. Lucifero is just taken back as to like what is going on here. He's surrounded by darkness and dark objects. And then we see a new devil union from Not. I kept saying this in the other previous videos, and I think in general we're going to see a lot more forms with Not. I think that we're going to see eventually him combining all the devils together, and also him having 3 devils together combined into one devil union. Keep an eye on that. The unison between Not and Yami is like they never left each other's side. This is kind of showing that they're basically best friends, even though they don't really talk to each other. This is like something where you had that friend that you haven't spoke to in years, and then out of nowhere you guys meet up. The two of you just click. So it's basically the same thing in this, because all their attacks are just complementing each other. It's like Yuno and Asta when they were fighting Zagreus, how their unison was so intact. Basically is the same thing. I was asked this in the comments, is there a possibility if like romantic emotions involved between the two characters that their combination spells will increase? So say if like Asta and Noel do a combination spell or a combination attack, because they can't really do a combination spell because Asta's anti-magic would just eat it up, will it be more powerful because Noel loves Asta? And then the same thing with Yami and Charlotte, how Charlotte loves Yami. Is there a possibility if they do like a combination spell where it would be like flowers and darkness, the spell would be a lot stronger because of Charlotte's love towards Yami? And if you think about it, that'd be really cool if they have like some type of hell flower if they both do a combination spell in the future. With all these attacks, something caught the eye of Adramalik. Adramalik couldn't believe it. Lucifero couldn't believe it either. Lucifero came to realize that humans have the potential to defeat him. It's not just Asta using Libe's power, which is anti-magic. There's arcane mages and possibly Saint Stage mages that could defeat him too. Lucifero probably doesn't know what Saint Stage or arcane stage is. He most likely doesn't know, because if he knew, he would probably already know that humans could possibly have the potential to defeat him in the first place, and he would have been taking it serious since the get-go. It's just crazy to me to see that the main antagonist villain on this arc goes from being annoyed and frustrated to being calm and focused. Shows that the current cast are now in big trouble, and I wonder if anybody's actually going to die in the next couple of chapters, because I know people have been telling me that somebody's most likely going to die moving forward, because now that Lucifero is actually taking them serious and actually sees them as a threat, he's going to have no mercy. He's not going to be playing around with them. He's going to go straight for the kill. It makes me wonder who will die. Basically, Lucifero says to the whole entire group, I will kill you without fail. It's not just going to be you, it's going to be basically all of humanity. Humanity needs to be wiped out. I love how the king of the devils has came to the conclusion that humanity is a threat. Humanity is not just this weaker race of life. They actually have the potential to wipe out devils and him himself. I hope that Tabata handles him right when they actually defeat him, because I don't think they're going to defeat him 100%. I think they might have to drive him back to the underworld, or possibly only defeat half of him and then the other half is in the underworld. This part gave me a smirk on my face. Yami basically says that, hey, all this time you weren't taking it serious. You got to be kidding me. If you think about it, it makes sense, because you know they did all these attacks and at the end of the day they only did like 1 wound. But I love it how even with the odds being against them, they still stand up and fight. They don't go running around hiding under a rock hoping that everything's gonna be okay. No, they fight the villain straight on. Nero actually seals the wounds of Asta, so she heals him a little bit. However, the last 2 pages got me really excited, because you see a crown standing up with a star, and you know that's Yuno. Basically, Yuno and Asta are jabbing each other, kind of what rivals do. Asta's like, wow, you look really messed up. Yuno says, hey, you're the last person that should be telling me this. With Yami, Not, Asta, and Yuno, those 4 people, they stand up and fight against Lucifero's new form. This is epic. I can't wait to the next chapter. Tabata deserves that rest. I definitely think somebody might actually end up dying in this battle. If Tabata doesn't kill off a person, it's fine, but I think it would be better for the story if somebody actually dies in this battle. I'm not saying Yuno or Asta or Not and Yami, I think they're untouchable at this point, but I'm saying like another person, maybe a captain that doesn't need to be there anymore. That's all I have to say about this chapter. This chapter was awesome. I loved it. Let me know what you think about this chapter. Let me know what you think about Lucifero's new form. Do you think somebody actually might die in this battle? How do you feel about Asta and Yuno, Not and Yami facing off Lucifero? How long do you think this battle is going to last? Do you think it's going to last a couple of more chapters? What do you think about Not's and Yami's combination spell? Do you like it? Do you think Lucifero is going to start using magical spells now that he's in his new form? Like if you liked the video, comment, subscribe, and I'm out of here.